It is March 7th, 2023. We have quarterback news, quarterback deals breaking left and right. Silas has found a decent internet source. We are going to draft the absolute best ever big board team that's ever been drafted on March 7th, 2023. And none of you are going to be able to tell me otherwise. So we're going to get into it. Let's go. All right, Silas, I have made some big promises. I have told the masses that we are going to draft the best big board team that has ever been drafted. Do you think that we can actually do that?
I do. With the amount of money the two of us have won, I think it's going to be pretty easy.
I mean, I've won at least $5 playing best ball at minimum, right?
I
Like
mean,
that's
if our Chiefs stack in the Gauntlet 2 actually advanced out of round 1, I think we would have won. We would have combined and won first, and then my other team would have won second, so it would have been fine.
yeah. So I mean, that's all we need. So we're actually already in the draft. If you want to draft with us, we are waiting for two. I wouldn't jump in with this draft if I were you guys, because like I said, we are going to draft the best team ever, which means that your advance rate on this particular draft is going to be limited. I'm just putting that out there. I guarantee that this team will advance, or Eric Beimfor will never stream again. That is the guarantee that we have on this show.
So that means he's given us the keys to the kingdom.
That's right. I have made a deal, and I will take it. And of course, we are drafting in the back end of the draft again, because it is impossible for me to get any of the 1, 2, or 3 picks.
We don't want them anyway. They're all going to get hurt, and everybody's glamoring about these beautiful wide receivers, and we're just going to sleep and grab a JT share again.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna absolutely crush it in the back end of this draft. As we're getting ready to start it from the 9 spot, do you have any thoughts on some of the news that broke today? We have Lamar getting franchise tagged. We have Daniel Jones getting paid a decent amount of money for being Daniel Jones. We have some franchise tags that have been laid out. Anything that sticks out?
The Daniel Jones contract definitely sticks out. The fact that they were able to franchise, or they were able to sign the contract and then franchise Saquon, they're basically bringing the boys back together. They should upgrade the offense with some wide receivers, and you would expect Daboll to kind of move that forward. So I'm very excited for the Giants this season. The Lamar news was definitely interesting. I thought they were going to exclusive franchise tag him instead of non-exclusive, which guarantees him less money, which is kind of interesting. I think they're just fed up with negotiating with him, letting him kind of sign a contract and then kind of see where it goes from there. I was hopeful that Atlanta would swoop in. It sounds like that's not going to happen, but who knows? That could just be smoke.
Yeah. All right. So I've already failed as a streamer, and I didn't put the board up for this first round, but everyone is going to deal with it, because that's the way we're going to do it right now. So we kind of see this draft is flying through. We saw the normal 3 go. We saw Travis Kelce followed by Cooper Kupp, Tyreek Hill. Jonathan Taylor goes at the 107. So we're going to be looking at like Stephon Diggs, AJ Brown, Devontae Adams. We could go Eckler. I'm very scared of Eckler. Diggs goes.
I'm very scared of Eckler.
Where are you leaning right now? We see Devontae Adams. For me, it's AJ Brown.
I actually kind of think I lean CD, even though they seem like they want to run the football. Like, I think CD is just one of those elite talent that could move up into that next tier.
Okay. I'm going to overrule you on this one, and I'm going to take AJ Brown. I understand the CD thing. I just think that like they're so close to me. AJ Brown, CD Lamb, and AJ Brown I think is not getting like a dip based on like how he played towards the end of the season, with Devonta Smith actually being a little bit better most of the time. But for me, it's just such an explosive offense. When I think AJ Brown and I think CD Lamb like being super close to each other, I'm just like breaking that tie with AJ Brown being on the Eagles, and his target share is still going to be through the roof. So, and also there's a small minuscule chance, not in this room, of course, that CD could have fallen back down to us. Does not happen, which is okay.
Yeah, the only thing I lean towards CD is you're going to get a little bit more of a consistent floor, and I actually think his ceiling is a little bit higher than AJ Brown's. On a one-game sample, like if you're in the finals, AJ Brown definitely has that higher ceiling.
Mhm.
But like season overall, I don't think AJ can be the wide receiver one where I think CD actually could.
All right, so we are on the clock. We have 20 seconds. We see Saquon, Mahomes, Waddle. We could do a Hurt stack. Have you done any AJ Brown Hurt stacks yet?
I haven't. I'd be okay with Hurts. I'm actually looking at Garrett Wilson here.
So the funny thing is, I have been grabbing so much Garrett Wilson in the second round. He's like kind of my second round guy.
Yep.
I'm interested in seeing how we build a team around Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown stack. It's not like it's going to be a unique stack by any means. I think the AJ Brown drafter is taking the Jalen Hurts at a high clip,
Yep.
which still I think is fine. Let me throw the board up here so that people can see what's going on. If you guys can't see that screen, please let me know. And
I mean,
I
it was a
will
winning stack last year, so people are just going to naturally gravitate towards it. But both of them are studs. Like if Jalen Hurts stays healthy, he's going to be in the top 3 for quarterback scoring, if not QB1. AJ Brown will probably be a mid-tier wide receiver one.
And to go to the Garrett Wilson point, I've been grabbing Garrett Wilson a lot because I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be his quarterback. I've thought that all off season, and I thought there was such a discount on Rodgers relative to the position right now.
Yep.
Last year, that spot where he's going wouldn't be a discount, but because you psychos are drafting Trevor Lawrence in like the 4th round.
Hey. I am one of those psychos.
It just allows that. I mean, because you have to draft with what's given to you for the most part. And I did not expect quarterbacks to get pushed up as much as they did. So when you can get that, it's the only time we're going to have the sample on Aaron Rodgers. How the Jets front office is flying out right now to meet with him in California, I think. And if you're boarding a private plane to go meet with somebody in California, you're getting a deal done. Is just the way I look at it. Like you're not going out there, to sit in a dark room with Aaron Rodgers and slap ass. Like you're going out there to get him on that team so that Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, and let's face it, they're gonna allow Rodgers to kind of like let loose a little bit over there, even though the defense is good. I do like that.
I think they're flying out there to see what assurances they can get from him. Because they're going to have to give up some assets. I think they want him around for like 2-3 years.
Exactly.
Trying to just get him to give him the okay. But yeah, I think he does end up a Jet. Last I heard, the Raiders are interested, but they came out and said that they weren't really interested. He's kind of running out of places of where to go. I think the Pack are ready to give the keys to Jordan Love like they did to Aaron Rodgers way back when. It's just kind of funny that Rodgers is literally side-by-side comparison to the Favre career trajectory.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going exactly. We just see Nick Chubb go right before we are up. I was hoping to get Nick Chubb. What are you looking at this spot? You have 20 seconds.
I like Amari Cooper. I'm not really interested in Ramondre or Tony Pollard. Can you scroll down a little bit?
Yep.
I've been gravitating towards a lot of Mike Williams. The Calvin Ridley stuff is interesting, but this is the hard part.
Let's grab. You like Watson? You said.
Yeah, if you can get down there.
Yeah, let's grab Cooper for this pick, and we'll see what comes back around to us. The Cooper thing is interesting. I have some thoughts on this Cooper thing, and it's not on Cooper. It's actually on the Browns at whole, where there was like a report where it was worded very specifically that the Browns are open to trading Nick Chubb. And it's like, yeah, of course they are, because you should be open to trading anybody. And it's like such a way for people to be able to be like, when he doesn't get traded, be like, oh, well, I just said they were open to it. I didn't say they were going to trade him. Like, it's such a cop out, like tweet or like report. Yeah. The point I want to make on that is if they are open to trading him, if they do trade him, it's because they want to change the way this offense plays the game, right? And they want to cater it a little more to Deshaun Watson. If he has anything left in the tank, didn't really look like it last year, but that's what I would say is that they'd be looking to make this a more passing friendly team going forward, as opposed to relying All right, so we still see DeAndre Hopkins, Mike Williams on the board, Christian Watson. I'm just going to look at receiver here.
Yeah, I'm between Williams and Watson.
What is it that you like about Williams this year?
So Williams is going to be the full wide receiver one because there's chances that they cut Keenan Allen. As long as he stays healthy, they like him in that Michael Thomas like role. They use him down the field, kind of provides those spike weeks.
Yeah, and I don't really like to say the quote unquote as long as he stays healthy thing, but it is very much a thing with Mike Williams.
Absolutely.
Because it's what we deal with every year, right? Like it's
Yep.
just real bad.
Can I go back to the Cleveland point?
Yes.
Stefanski definitely wants to open up the playbook and open up the offense. You saw that towards the end of the year. I think they were throwing the football like 40 times a game, even though Deshaun Watson looked like crap. I think they were hoping that, just letting him throw the football will knock off the rust of not playing for 2 years. And they're going to be a pass heavy offense. I mean, he's what, 27, 28? Like he's young comparatively. So he's going to be around for a while. They have to build through him. They gave the man stupid amounts of money. So yeah, they're definitely going to throw a crap ton.
Yeah, they have to build through him. They are not in a position to win this season or next season. So Nick Chubb is probably one of your most valuable assets. And if you are a team that feels like you're a running back away, problem is, what are you going to get for him? Right. Yeah. Like at the end of the day, we're seeing that these teams are willing to do like a short-term thing where they're giving up money on a franchise tag. We see that with Josh Jacobs. We see that with Saquon Barkley. But are they interested in trading assets for the position? And I think that position is just limited. I think teams are catching on. We've been saying it for 6, 7, 8 years. Why would you ever draft a running back in the first round? Like Bijan's probably going to go in the first round, obviously. But even that, it's like, okay, like you're still drafting a position in the first round that you can generally fill out without that guy. I understand that he's a generational talent, quote unquote, but
even then, I mean, he's gonna go to a team that's using him as a luxury pick, right? Like, he's being projected to the Eagles, who have multiple first round picks, who literally were just in the Super Bowl.
Right. So I mean, it does make sense for a team like that, I suppose. But we are back on the clock in a second. There are a couple of guys that I do like here that are available. So I'm big on DeAndre Swift here in the 5th round. I don't know what your thoughts are.
I like Swift. I also like Jahmyr Gibbs.
That's the other guy I like.
And then I'm going down the road again. Like, bring me pain. Yeah. You know who I want.
You want some KP? Some KP?
Yeah.
Let's.
But yes, Swift I think is definitely underrated and undervalued right now. He was healthy towards the end of the year. They used him a crap ton. Should see his role expand, even though they plan on bringing back Jamal Williams. And then you're trying to kind of unlock the same DeAndre Swift-like role with Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, I don't think anyone's making him a 3-down back.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, like they're 1A, 1B kind of for me in that particular spot of the draft. And I don't even hate Aaron Rodgers. I mean, sorry, we've been talking so much about Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones as well. I think they're going to rely on him heavily this season based on what that offense is going to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll talk more about this tight end. Dobbins is the other guy I like around here. So J.M. Sun takes him right at the end of the 5th. I like Dobbins a lot this year. I just think he flashed a little bit towards the end of the year. He's going to be the 2nd year off of that injury, which is when they usually come back and play a lot better. We saw it with like Saquon and stuff like that. So
yeah, Dobbins is definitely talented. I'm mostly afraid of just what that team is going to look like. Like, there's definitely a lot of uncertainty. So it feels a little his price seems a little inflated for me. I actually really like Dameon Pierce. Similar situation.
Yeah, I mean that could be sort of the same idea as well. So we see Kyle Pitts get taken from us right there. I was going to allow it, but that is gone.
You want to take the Philly double stack with Goddard?
I was going to ask you, do you want to go Dallas Goddard here?
Yeah.
And not that I'm like chomping to draft tight ends ever like this early, but when we have Hurts, we can go with this double. I don't hate having the double with Hurts and Goddard. I mean, there are 3 targets on that Philly offense, like, and that's pretty much it.
Yep.
You're getting, we'll say, like, I'm simplifying this, but we have 66% of the target share. It's probably more like 55% or something like that. But amongst the three guys, we know that it's going to AJ Brown, it's going to Dallas Goedert, it's going to Devonta Smith. So I like having this offense. Let's throw the draft board back up here for everybody.
Only other guy that could have been, or I was hoping that both Pitts and Goddard were there so we could debate the two.
Mhm.
I am interested in Deontay Johnson this year. Mike Evans is interesting. I like Hollywood Brown again. And then you kind of get into the rookie first round wide receivers of Addison, Quentin Johnson, all in that similar set.
Yes.
So those are other guys that were in consideration at that pick. But Goddard, you're getting the elite guy that can be a top 3, could potentially go up to, could potentially be the tight end 1 if you see a Kelsey drop off this year.
Mhm.
So it just kind of makes sense, even though primarily I'm waiting on tight end in this contest.
I do like this point from Sacrilegious. He says that Gibbs can't end up in a better situation than Swift because there aren't any better offensive lines than the Lions. It's always Swift over Gibbs for me. And I like that reasoning for the most part. It's still, we're talking about pass catching back. So offensive line obviously does matter. But when you're looking at guys for quick dump off swings, like the offensive line still matters, but we're not looking at him from a 3-down back stance where, like, if I was looking at it from a 3-down back stance, that would weigh a smidge more than it does for me. But I totally understand the concept and I like the point.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's kind of like what I said. You're literally hoping for the upside of DeAndre Swift with Gibbs. And at least we know Swift is a known commodity. So you're kind of paying for the shiny new toy. What the heck is it?
Mm-hmm. So we are coming up. I'm saying a lot. I don't know why I'm doing that. It's not something I normally do. There we go again. Did it again. We are on the clock. We see Joe Mixon, Pacheco, Algier. Wide receivers, we see Dotson, Sutton, Tony, Flowers. Is there anything that...
Tony interests me. Dotson interests me. I also really like Flowers this year.
I do as well. I like Dotson. Let's go with Tony. I think he is the most upside of these wide receivers. There is another guy that I would have considered taking for reasons. I just want to see if he kind of falls to us before I bring his name up. I don't think he will.
Put him in the chat for who I think it is. You can agree with me or disagree with me.
No, it is not him.
Okay.
But I do like that one because we are going to see his backfield mate not be there as a little tease to what we're talking about. So Courtland Sutton goes after us. Have you read more about these rumors? Have you seen that Courtland Sutton is secretly, super secretly being shopped right now for Denver?
I have. And it doesn't really surprise me because there have been talks of him and Judy being shopped. I mean, they traded a crap ton of capital for Russ Wilson, so I think they're just trying to rebuild out the team. Like they got to do something.
Yeah, it's just like the ability to get a wide receiver right now is so scarce that it's like, why are you getting rid of Sutton, who is, I mean, he hasn't been elite level. I want to take Joe Mixon here in the 8th round.
Really? I want nothing to do with Joe Mixon. I don't think he plays a single snap this year.
Why do you think he doesn't play this year?
Didn't he just like pull a gun on a child?
Oh, is that what happened? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I missed that news.
I would be really interested in Rashad White or James Conner.
All right. Let's find White and James Conner. Hell, I'd rather James Conner pull a gun on anybody than take James Conner. What are you talking about, James Conner?
I mean, when he's healthy, he is one of the he's one of the best running backs for fantasy purposes. He's involved. He's on the field for close to 100% of snaps, involved in the passing game. He's going to be next year. He's just made of glass. Like, that is the concern.
Yeah, he is made of glass. He's 137 years old.
I don't care.
That offense, I know they're revamping the offense. It's going to be, I'm trying to stay clear of Cardinals, like, mostly this year. Maybe Hollywood, but.
Oh, see, yeah. I'm the opposite. I don't expect Kyler to miss much time. And I fully expect them to find a way to make that line better so the offense is more effective.
Kyle, it doesn't matter if he doesn't miss as much time. It's going to be like a 5, 6, 7 week thing. He's not going to be the same player this year. He might be next year, But this coming year, Kyler is not going to be Kyler, and you're not going to see what that offense can be. I don't care who's running it until 2024. So I'm being very cautious about what I do with Arizona Cardinals right now.
You can draw your foot in the sand. I'm taking the screaming value of Kyler Murray in so many of these drafts.
He's not going to run. And if they do trade DeAndre Hopkins, he only has Hollywood and like Trey McBride. I don't think you can get it with just
slander
his
Greg
hand.
Dortch. All
Oh
right.
my God, we're not doing this Dortch thing again.
Greg Dortch was good.
He was fine.
Rondale sucks. Greg Dortch is good.
He was good for DFS because he just was always cheap. And it always helped. All right, we are on the clock again. We see Brian Robertson. I really like Darnell Mooney in this spot. Do you like Jalen Hyatt at all?
I'm afraid of Hyatt. I think he's just going to be a burner.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're going to use him all over the field. So,
what are your thoughts on Mooney?
I like Mooney. It's kind of going down the same path. Juju's interesting.
Well, Juju's interesting because of the uncertainty.
Yes.
Although I don't think he looked great last year, and he especially didn't look great after the injury.
He actually looked good in the Super Bowl in the second half. There were points where Juju looked good. He didn't look great throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think he has to get in a rhythm. Like, you have to give Juju targets, right, for him to like actively be involved in the game. And Casey really wanted to push the ball downfield, and Juju's not used down the field, so they just didn't use him in the right way. But I felt like they used that for a lot of their receivers. Like, they didn't use them in the ways we expected them to use them.
Yeah, I have Numi in the chat saying that the lack of chat involvement is tough. When the chat actually says something that is of note, I will allow it to be put on stream. But when your point's stuck, you do not get allowed a free plug on our show.
Can you bring up Kobe Short's message that Kamara and Mixon both are criminal values because they are both criminals?
Yeah. It's exactly right. And when we're getting comments like that, then I can't involve you guys. You guys have to come with the fire in order for me to involve you.
Can you show me who's at quarterback?
I don't know if we need to grab another quarterback. We have Hurts.
We don't. Yeah, that's true. Running back?
We see Brian Robinson, who I like.
Robinson's good. I like Demont because I think he's going to be involved somewhere.
God, you like all the fat people.
Oh my God.
Silas is such a fucking chubby chaser.
I'm not a chubby chaser, man. I just they're gonna get touches. Demont's a free agent. He's not gonna be in Chicago anymore.
We don't know that for sure. And I think Demont is like the perfect. We've talked about this. I'm gonna grab Brian Robinson because I'm overruling you trying to grab all the people that are overweight on this stream. But I think he is the perfect candidate. I think so. The Chargers are going to bring somebody in to play alongside Eckler and gobble up all the goal line stuff. That's why I'm really scared of Eckler this year. And I think Montgomery or Damian Harris are kind of the perfect fits for that. So, yeah.
He fits in pretty much every offense, right? Like, Dave Montgomery's not sexy by any means, but he's going to run through the tackles relatively efficiently, and he's going to make his way to fall forward. Like, he's essentially Zeke before the cliff.
I think he's going to be Zeke closer to the cliff than before the cliff this year. Ooh, I think he's more, and it was a great season. Don't get me wrong. I think he's going to be like a watered down Jamal Williams this year, wherever he goes, where he gets
touchdowns,
7 or 8 touchdowns, which is fine. But we're talking about 9th round. We're not talking about 17th round, like where you got an extreme value. Religious is saying that Demont landing spots that raises ADP: Miami, Denver, Chargers, Atlanta.
Definitely not.
I don't think Atlanta. I think they're going to try to see what they have with Algier this season.
CPAT's still under contract too. So
CPAT's 39 years old.
He's still involved in the offense.
He was last year, but you could see that they were trying to sort of go Algier the last 3 or 4 games that they played. I think you're going to see in the beginning of the year. They could always go back to him, but I think that they're going to give Algier a fair shake on this particular season to start this particular season.
Yeah, I don't know. From what I'm reading, they don't like Algier as much as we think. They're not going to give him the keys to the thing, and Arthur Smith likes to have multiple running backs involved. So
They could bring. I just don't think Demont's going to Atlanta. I think Atlanta has so many other
yes, I agree.
other things they need to deal with other than getting a fat running back on their roster. All right, so we are coming back. Demont is still available because he's fat.
Bryce Young.
You said Bryce Young.
I said Bryce Young.
You want to grab another quarterback in the 11th round?
We either grab Bryce Young here, or we wait and we try and hope that we can get Stroud. But we need one of those rookie quarterbacks, in my opinion.
Okay.
You complement the spike weeks with Hurts. You complement the spike week with Hurts with someone who can both run and throw for, and put up the 20, 25 points.
All right, I will allow Bryce Young. It's not the way that I would have built this team, but I'm fine with it'll be unique for me, so I am fine with it.
This is where we only grab 2 quarterbacks and
yes,
everything else.
Yeah, we're not even considering other quarterbacks at this point now. Because I thought we could go one quarterback, to be honest with you, if we really wanted to. Like if we got locked out, I was fine with just going Hurts personally.
I don't hate it. In these types of contests, I am pigeonholing myself a tiny bit by making sure I have at least 2 quarterbacks.
I just think
because it's so early.
I think when we're grabbing those first 3 quarterbacks, that's when I'm okay to go with the single QB because of the capital you're putting in so that I can fire more shots at other positions. Let's look at what we got at running back. Oops, sorry. We're seeing Kareem Hunt, Sean Tucker, Antonio Gibson.
Gibson's a free agent. That's interesting. I like Hunt because Hunt's been rumored to Denver. I also like Sean Tucker. Man runs fast.
All right. Do we want to take a shot on Sean Tucker here?
Yeah,
I'm not sure what my Sean Tucker percentage is. It's pretty low right now. So we'll do that. We'll grab him.
I think he ran like a 4.3, if I'm not mistaken. Not that any of that actually matters, but
yep. So Devin says, ironically, I was high on Jacobs last year, but I don't see myself grabbing a ton of him this year. Hard to see him replicating that again. I don't know why. Well, the offense is going to be completely different. You don't know who's going to be playing quarterback there. They're probably drafting a rookie. They may rely on him a bit, but I don't see him replicating his output last year either. I did like Jacobs last year. I was on Jacobs because of the value. He's not the value this year. So it's harder to draft him this year because you're not getting him in the, what were we getting him? 8th round last year, generally? 7th, 8th round?
I think he was in the 8th, 9th.
Yeah.
He was like the end of the dead zone.
Yeah. So he was like almost theoretically a free pick for that area, and he's not again this year. So, and by all consideration, he's a year older, which doesn't always matter. I know we like to make fun of age and stuff, but the offense is going to be worse. I can't imagine the offense being better. We could be pleasantly surprised.
Because they're not getting Rodgers. Like I'm pretty dead set they're not getting Rodgers.
Same.
Not that I think Rodgers is even that much better than Derek Carr these days. Like he might be play wise, but like fantasy wise, no. And then they're going to be moving probably to a rookie quarterback because I don't think they're giving the keys to Jarrett Stidham.
Yeah. Or they're going to start off Stidham with a very, very short lease to get to the rookie, is what I would say. Sacrilegious has heavy bags on Sean Tucker. Raiders CJ Stroud for the memes from Devin Davis. So this is a funny one. Kobe Short says, I'm drafting Josh Jacobs because I fully faded him when his hamstring was reported to be hanging on by a thread. Then he went out and scored 50. Yeah, tough day in DFS for a lot of people that week.
Richardson in the 13th is
he's getting shot crazy up the board. I think I am gonna I might have him on a team or two here or there right now. I think going forward, I'm probably gonna have 0 Anthony Richardson. He's just getting hyped up the board too much. And I don't think he plays year one.
I don't think he does either. People are forgetting, like, they're literally projecting him as a project to sit for an entire year.
Yeah.
There's still a chance he goes 5 to Seattle, and Seattle can get out of Geno's contract after 1 year. Like, he's a bridge quarterback.
Yep. All right. So we are on the clock. We see Romeo Dubs, Alec Pierce, Chase Claypool, Curtis Samuel.
Didn't we grab Mooney, though?
We did grab Mooney, yes.
So I don't want Claypool.
Yep, I agree.
I like Pierce. Dubs is. I don't know if I like Dubs here.
I think I like Pierce a little over Dubs.
You scroll down a little bit.
Yes. I like Chark, but
I like Chark because
we might be able to wait.
Free agent. MVS is also very interesting to me.
I like MVS again this year too. I think a year in the system with Mahomes, I don't think he's going anywhere. I know like people are thinking they're going to overhaul this entire wide receiver corps. My question is how? How do you rework the entire wide receiver? How do you rework the entire wide receiver room? That is a Sally sold seashells down by the seashore line right there for some reason. You got to bring some of those guys back. Obviously, they're bringing back Tony. They're bringing back Sky Moore. I think you bring back MVS and you try to add somebody, whether through the draft or relatively cheap through trading.
Yep.
I don't know.
I've seen that MVS is technically a cut candidate because he doesn't have a lot of dead money, but they're already hurting for weapons. Like, why not just pay the man? Like,
yeah, he's not going to be like expensive relative to the market. I think
he got less money than what Jacoby Myers is going to get.
Yeah. All right. So Chart, you want to go with MVS?
Yeah, let's go MVS.
You want to have some fun?
Yeah, I mean, we both were heavy on MVS this year, so
for the brand. We'll take MVS. I mean, I do think I like Chark a little more just because once you get down to this range, I like that Chark. I mean, MVS is kind of the same deal. I like that Chark skill set down here where it's like, I don't need him to score for me every week. I'm looking for him to get on the board 3 to 4 weeks and maybe light it up once in the playoffs. Yep. Right? That's what we're looking for in the 14th round. So,
I mean, yeah, both similar skill sets. Chark definitely comes with more injury risk.
Mm-hmm.
Not that really matters.
Right.
The best thing about Chark going right now is the uncertainty of like how many offenses he could fit in. But I don't think he's going to get a lot more money than I expect, right? He's going to get up there to like 16 mil a year. I fully believe that. I just don't know who's going to have the cap space to actually sign him.
I don't know if I don't disagree with this take that Geno's contract to me told me that Seattle doesn't think Richardson will be there at 5 and they aren't willing to pay what it would take to move up. I think it was a relatively team-friendly deal that if they do still draft Richardson, I think it's perfect for them to draft Richardson at 5, honestly, because like we said, we think he's a project quarterback. This allows them to have Geno Smith for 2 years. I mean, I know it's a 3-year deal, but I think they can get out on the 3rd year. I didn't fully look into the contract, but it's not a lot of money.
Get out after 1 year.
Yeah.
They can get out after 1 year.
It's front loaded like crazy from what I saw. So they could get out whenever they want to after the 1st year. He's still getting paid, but it works out for both sides to a degree. So,
yeah. And to think like he's saying he doesn't think Richardson will be there. I mean, it's totally possible that someone else trades up into the top 3. Like they basically have to. I don't think Indy is going to take Richardson. I don't think Houston's going to take Richardson.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to go. I fully think they're going Stroud. Stroud goes 1. Bryce goes 2. Like I fully believe that. And then it's the D lineman. So unless someone gets infatuated and thinks they can really fix him, like somehow Atlanta trades up into the top 5 to take Richardson as their project quarterback, I don't really see it happening.
I know the report is that Atlanta is now out on Lamar Jackson, but if you're trading up all that capital, Lamar's still young. Wouldn't you rather trade for Lamar than you would because you're getting a proven asset there? I don't know. That's just me. I guess I would rather trade for Lamar than any of the quarterbacks that are in this particular draft personally. All right. So we are back on the clock in at least 16 seconds. I see a guy that I like.
I see a guy I like.
Is it Tyquan Thornton?
It is not. I was going to say
Oh,
Roshan Johnson.
all right. Well, we can do another running back, I suppose. I do like Tyquan. He did start to flash towards the end of the year. We think that he is going to be a big part of the Patriots offense. They do bring back Bill O'Brien, all points that I've said on this show before. I do like getting him this late. I think he is going to jump up draft boards throughout the year, and not to like crazy levels, but he's not going to be a 15th round pick.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that, and think I don't know if he's severely underpriced. Like I think he's going in the right round. Like he's a spike week player. I don't see him being a consistent scorer for you. But they are going to stretch the field and kind of throw the ball a little bit farther downfield, which is nice.
There's a point in here that we have hit on past shows with me and Bime for. I'll bring it up and then we can talk about it after we draft. Devin is asking if he is the only one who's been skipping elite quarterback builds and going straight to Danny Dimes later on. We can hit on this in a second if you want to talk about it. I've talked about this ad nauseum for the past few weeks. So let's get our draft pick out. We're on the clock right now. Is there anything standing out to you here that you?
Gesicki's interesting, and Jawan Johnson, both free agent tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
The running back, I'm not really looking at running back right now. Wide receiver is kind of meh, so I'd be looking at one of them.
I like Gesicki because I just think that being a free agent, he could go sign a 1-year deal somewhere. And it could be somewhere we talk about Cincinnati being up against the cap, but Cincinnati is going to be going for it this year.
Yep.
And if you get a guy like Gesicki as your other tight end, I would really like a landing spot like that. I mean, there's others as well. You could see him go to the Chargers. Like there's spots for Gesicki to go be really productive this season, and the position sucks. So I don't mind getting Gesicki.
Yeah. I would love him in LA with Kellen Moore because you'd get that Dalton Schultz type season.
Yeah.
Hurst is a free agent, if I'm not mistaken.
He is, yeah.
Gesicki would then move into that receiving type role. I know he's not a great blocker, but they can probably use what's that guy? Mitchell Wilcox just as a blocking tight end, bring Gesicki in passing situations.
Yep.
Then I will go back to elite quarterback builds. And no, I am definitely not doing many elite quarterback builds. I think they are severely overpriced. I typically don't even start thinking about quarterback until Trevor Lawrence, which I know you said you hate.
I just hate I hate where he's going.
But I think he's the last of that elite group, and he's cheap enough where I can stomach the cost.
See, I'm looking at this from a different light where we're talking about that elite tier, and if you're putting him in that elite tier, it's a 2-round difference. I understand that the talent in the second round is different than the talent in the fourth round. But if I'm grabbing an elite quarterback and I'm investing capital, I'm taking the guys that can consistently put up a 40-point game for me or are more likely to, and that is Allen, Hurts, Mahomes.
See, but the thing is, I think he can. Like he is not run averse. He runs the football. He's not afraid to run around the goal line. He's lanky as hell and can throw for 3-4 touchdowns every single week. Like he's going to consistently average over 25 points a game, and he has the 40-point bombs.
Yeah, I'm just if I'm building that way, I prefer those three. I understand it. Like I just think that the problem is some of these guys got the entire quarterback bubbled up. Yep. And I think some of them bubbled up a little too far. And your point is you think it's the elite guys in the second round. I think it's the next tier of elite that have bubbled up too far. So when I'm looking at that, I'm just going to, and I'm not doing it all the time. I am waiting on quarterback quite a lot on these drafts. But when I'm grabbing elite, I'm usually grabbing one of those three for me personally. Oh, speaking of disgusting, we have Allen Robinson at the top of the board, who has been granted permission to seek a trade, which will never happen.
Just sad because I was actually in on Robinson this year.
I was in on Robinson last year. Well, no, 2 years ago, sorry. And I got burned pretty bad. Anyone standing out to you here?
No, scroll down. Noah Fant's interesting. I don't know. This is where it gets tough.
Yeah.
This is probably our last tight end, and then we can click and just look at running backs and wide receivers from here on out.
I wouldn't have hated Bellinger here as a third tight end. We do get the Daniel Jones news that he's back. I expected him to be back. I never thought he wasn't going to be back. You get Saquon back. Bellinger, nothing flashy last year, but he's a starting NFL tight end who did actually catch the ball here and there. He almost lost an eyeball. That was fun. We were all excited about that. That's what I want to see is any given Sunday situation where a guy's eyeball pops out on the field. But yeah, I feel like you didn't get that reference. Have you not seen Any Given Sunday?
I have seen the game on Sunday.
Any Given Sunday, the movie?
Oh no, I have not seen that movie. No.
Yeah, I didn't think you got that reference.
No.
Somebody's eyeball pops off in that movie, and it's disgusting. Yeah,
that sounds fun.
Yeah, that happened.
To Kobe's comment, why is Zay Jones above Josh Palmer? Josh Palmer sucks and is not very good. We saw he basically couldn't fulfill their wide receiver. He couldn't fill the role of their wide receiver too. When basically Mike Williams and Keenan Allen were hurt all year. I expect them to try to do something to bring somebody else in. And Zay Jones was actually pretty freaking good. Like he's PFF, one of the better wide receivers in the league. So that is why he goes above. And that offense is going to be freaking sweet.
So, what are you looking at here?
Kenny McIntosh is interesting. I don't know if I can do the CH thing again.
Well, I just don't know where he's going to end up and what his role is going to be. I think he's just a gigantic. I think he's as much of a wild card as the rookies are right now. So that's why I'm like, I'll take some shots on him here and there. I don't love any of the wide out. Oh, you know what? I do see one that I should have grabbed, but we should have grabbed probably Richie James here, to be perfectly honest.
Probably should have grabbed Darius Slayton. Richie James is not going to be very involved in the Giants.
You don't think so?
No. I do not think so. Van Jefferson's kind of interesting, as gross as that sounds, especially with the news that they might move on from A-Rod.
That's a good point. I just overlooked him for some reason. That probably was the play.
Can you just go on wide receivers? We can scroll and look a little bit.
Yeah.
This is where it gets tough.
It's real, real gross here.
Nathan Dell's interesting after the draft. I've been I'm gonna wait. This one's hard.
Yeah, isn't Matt Collins a free agent right now?
He could be. Let me look it up.
I'm pretty sure Matt Collins is a free agent, so I'm kind of interested in a guy like that. Not that I love Matt Collins, but he could end up somewhere that's looking for a wide receiver. I don't hate that.
No, I do not think DeAndre Carter is better than Palmer. I just don't think either is good at all.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with the Keenan Allen stuff where they're like, he might not be back. Like, okay, well, who replaces that production? Where do they go to get it? I don't know. I think that the Chargers are in tough spots this year for what they're going to do with that offense.
Matt Collins is a free agent.
Yeah, so I find Matt Collins a little interesting from the respect that he's a free agent. He showed that he can play football, is what I will say. So he's like a guy that I don't mind taking a stab late in drafts. I do like Van Jefferson. Will star off Darius Slayton. Robert Woods is 137 years old, so he's like Robert Forrest now.
I'm definitely out on Robert Woods.
Me too.
I think he should retire.
He doesn't even need to retire, but he's just the type of guy that I don't like for fantasy. Like in terms of he's that Jarvis Landry type where he can go on a team and he can be serviceable. He's never going to give you like a quote unquote spike week that you're looking for. In my opinion, you're going to be you're really looking for him to catch 2 touchdowns like at some point, which I just don't think he's going to do at a high percentage.
Can't do it.
You want to do Van Jefferson here?
Yes.
I'm down for Van Jefferson.
Here, I'm going to put who else I'm very slightly interested in here.
All right.
The second one might make you puke.
I mean, is he alive?
He is.
I mean, I saw him get absolutely folded into a million pieces 13 times last year towards the end of the season. I was scared for that man's life at one point.
He did go on a stretcher, but
Dude, I don't think I can do that first one though.
he's a free agent, so
I maybe for LOLs we can do it. It is the 20th pick. I guess we can do some of that, especially if he's a free agent. Maybe he lands since the position is so scarce in free agency. I'm excited for free agency Monday.
I'm very excited to see what the hell happens. To Al's point, yes, I definitely have some very unique views. I'm trying to get a little bit different in this contest. I will probably be more in line when BBM 4 comes out, but it is the off season, so trying to get different. The two people we were talking about were Devontae Parker and Russell Gage, which
don't fucking say we weren't talking about nothing. I'm allowing you as a courtesy. You can pick either Devontae Parker or Russell Gage.
I prefer Russell Gage.
I did say that we were drafting the best team on March 7th, and you were really making that hard by picking between Russell Gage and Devontae Parker. I don't know if I don't know. It's
when this team thinks 100K, I want 75% of it.
This is probably my lowest projected team, but that doesn't matter. We don't care about projections.
I don't care about projections at all.
We don't care about projections.
I'm trying to think of I'm not truly rookie crazed like everybody else. I'm trying to stay away from most of the rookies outside of the rookie running backs, just because they can go into some pretty good roles.
Yeah.
The thing on Russell Gage, they gave him a pretty damn big contract, right? They're running into cap issues. I know that they're probably rolling out Kyle Trask, which is not good, but there's rumors that Godwin and or Mike Evans is available, which means Russell Gage is going to play close to 100% of snaps.
Yep.
When you're getting 100% of snaps, you're worth the 20th round pick.
Okay, fair. You've convinced me for one team to draft Russell Gage. Remember when he was going in the 6th round, you dummies?
I did not take 6th round.
You remember when you guys were doing 6th round Russell Gage last year? You psychopaths. And now he's in the 20th. All right, let's see what we have here. Let's go with our team. We'll view the full draft here and see what we did. So in the 1st round, we went with AJ Brown, followed by stacking him with Jalen Hurts. We got Amari Cooper, Mike Williams, DeAndre Swift, Dallas Goedert, Kadarius Toney, Rashad White, Darnell Mooney, Brian Robinson, Bryce Young, Sean Tucker, Alec Pierce, MVS, Roshan Johnson, Mike Gesicki, Noah Fant, Kenny McIntosh, Van Jefferson, and Mr. Irrelevant for us, it was Russell Gage, because Silas likes wide receivers that are constantly on life support. And we also learned that he is a chubby chaser as well. So this was a stellar draft for you, Silas. We're all excited about your takes that you like fat running backs, you like dead wide receivers. They score a lot of fantasy points in whatever fantasy world you're living in.
Hey, if we're being honest, I mean, I want a decent amount of money, so people got to start listening to me, right? Like that's how this works.
Yep.
So that's true. You just got to start drafting fat guys and don't draft rookies and
all the dead people. I usually talk about dead people on my other show, so it's fun to talk about them on a Spike Week show as well, which is Hometown Ghost Stories. You can catch us live tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. Please go over there and subscribe. Anyways, let's see. Do we want to roast anybody? 8 spot is the winner, is what G Strat is saying, who is also the person that drafted from the 8 spot. He went with Steph Diggs, Garrett Wilson, Nick Chubb, DeAndre Hopkins, Terry McLaurin, Jamison Williams, Cam Akers, Joe Mixon, Jared Goff, Kenneth Gainwell, Aaron Rodgers, Isaiah Hodgins, Donta Foreman, Michael Mayer, Nico Collins, Khalil Shakur, Pierre Strong, Rashee Rice, Tyler Conklin, Jake Ferguson.
I don't think he drafted someone for the last 10 rounds that was going to add a single point to his team. So
I like Gainwell. But well, yeah, once you get to Hodgins on, there is a chance that this entire
None of them do anything.
that they do absolutely garbage. So yeah, real solid team through 11 rounds there. G Strat.
Yeah, drafting a premium on Jameson Williams, who we only saw catch 5 passes this last year.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
At least our fat and dead guys are going to score points, is what I will say.
Exactly, they're going to be on the field.
Yeah, they're going to be on the field rolling around or just like levitating or something, but they'll be on the field.
Air yards matter. Okay,
they do. All right, so I think that is going to do it for us. Do you have any closing points, especially with all the news that's breaking today? Anything you wanted to hit on that we did not hit on?
Ooh. The Saquon franchise tag is the big one. I'm really interested or really excited for the Giants and how they're going to take on free agency in the draft.
Yeah.
Big loser today is Lamar Jackson. There's not going to be that many teams involved. We'll see if he returns in Baltimore. But right now, be very weary of that situation. Other than that, I mean, nothing really crazy. The Geno situation is interesting, but I still think they are in the prime position to take Anthony Richardson.
I think that they just put themselves in the best spot to build for the future, where they can have a guy that can run the offense now, as well as draft a guy still and not be upset about it. Like they middled it. Not that I usually like middling it, but if you are going to middle it, this is the way to do it. The quarterback's on a decent enough contract that it doesn't kill them, especially where it's front loaded. So if you're going to do it like the Seahawks did it. As far as Saquon, I think you're just going to see this trend going forward where running backs are going to franchise because they know that their shelf life is so low that just squeezing out that extra year on like a slightly expensive deal, but still friendly enough that you're not committed long term is going to be the play going forward. You're seeing it with Josh Jacobs as well. You're going to see that in the future a lot with that franchise tag and running backs. We see Aaron Rodgers probably going to go to the Jets, something that, I personally thought it was going to happen all along. It just makes sense. To touch on your point about like you didn't think he was too much better than Carr, I understand, but I think that was the style for Green Bay, the way they were trying to win games more so than anything, where they were draining the clock down to 1 second, running the ball. There's a chance that they open it up a little bit in the Jets, but to your point, that defense is so good. He could just bring that philosophy over with him, and that could make it so that what we're thinking could happen over there doesn't happen over there. I don't think he's going back to 6,000 yards, 59, 60 touchdown Aaron Rodgers, but I do think that he could be relatively fantasy useful in that background, right? The problem is he's not Jared Goff, where that team's defense was bad enough that they were in shootouts constantly. Yeah. So
Garrett Wilson's price might get crazy, but keep an eye out on Elijah Moore. I think he's going to be the real winner here.
Yeah, of all the pieces, the Elijah Moore one, because Garrett Wilson, I had a feeling Garrett Wilson was going to rise up the draft board. We talked about this a few months ago. I just didn't expect him to be in the second round already. That is what I find to be absolutely crazy. But then you got to think about it. The sharps are drafting right now, right? It is a lot of sharps. And one other point I want to push back on, and I'll talk about this more later, but people are talking about how the quarterback market is going to scale down once we start drafting heavier. If the sharps are the ones that are allowing second round Mahomes, Allen, Hurts, when you start to get the casuals in and they just want to get those guys because they like the quarterback position, don't be shocked if you see some of these guys get pushed up a little more instead of getting slid down. I'm just saying, like, I'm not going to be shocked either way that it goes. You start getting your June, July, August drafters in. If they're seeing second round, they're just going to click the button.
That's true.
We've seen it time and time again. It's like, I want the best quarterback in the league. Give me Mahomes. I want the best fantasy quarterback in the league. Give me Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts. You might see him get pushed up, and then that causes other people to panic. Yep. We prey on people panicking, so we've seen it in the past. We talk about it time and time again. So I think that those takes, we got to remember who's drafting now and that we are the ones that set the market. And then that market gets reset when the casuals come in July, August, September. So that's all I have for today. We will get more in depth on some of these points in the future. Next week is going to be a big week of free agency. Anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Nope. I think you summed it up pretty well.
All right, everybody. We will talk to you later. You'll see me back here Thursday, most likely with Eric Beimfor, if he's not scared to lose in debates to me again. All right. Peace.